It's kind of dark in here because it's dark outside. It's foggy today. This is the last day of probably 80-degree weather we're going to have. It's been really warm this year. We can't say this summer because we're actually in fall. But I wanted to show you this, the flower pot capacitor. Okay, I'm getting ready to heat it up and take out the beeswax. But remember I told you cut the wires off and leave a space so you can heat the terminal up and pull them out. Well, these are different. You'll get some where they put the wire through, up through the terminal, and then they crimp the terminal, so those wires won't come out. What you'll have to do is you cut them flush and drill a little hole next to the terminal, on each terminal, and then you put your capacitor up through there and wrap it around the top after you've cleaned up the terminal on the top and got the old wires off. Okay, so if you run into that problem where you said all I do is heat it up, pull the wire out, and it didn't work because there are so many companies that made these command radios. I think there were 5 or 6, and each one of them does each part slightly different. Okay, and even the company Sprague that makes the capacitor, they change from hand soldering each wire that goes through the terminal to crimping. Okay, now here's how the capacitors turn out. Okay, now look, it's having trouble with, it doesn't have enough light. Hold on, let's go up in here. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, you're going to take one lead and put the other 2 capacitors on it, and then you have the 3 other leads that come from each capacitor up to the terminal. This single lead goes down through the bottom through the flower pot. Let me move up a little bit. It's really annoying. I don't have enough light when I should have enough light because of the temperature outside, or fog. It's foggy today. The weather has really been annoying for a lot of different reasons this year. Probably for some people that like a lot of swimming, it's been probably good for them if they don't get skin cancer. Okay, now this is my heat gun. This is real old. This is a Black & Decker heat stripper. It's for stripping paint. When I saw this, and it was like 38 bucks, and I had to get a rain check on it, and I knew it would do exactly what I wanted it to do. Shrink tubing, heating things up to swedge them on. You can do everything without using a torch. Okay, this is basically a flameless torch. It gets very hot. Now, to do this, you don't want to overheat the beeswax. Okay, because I think it might catch fire. Yeah, I've been having problems with Windows 10. Windows 10 updated itself yesterday, like it did a week ago, and it knocked a bunch of stuff out. And what I did was I used Ubuntu, whatever it is, and I went online and I read, and it said roll back the update of Windows. And my Windows 10 is a little bit different, so I had to go looking for where I could go in, and I rolled it back and I fixed it. But a week ago, Windows 10 took out all my old programs. Now here the beeswax is starting to come out now. That's really coming out good now. It makes it so much easier to gut if I don't want that melting anything. That's amazing. Okay, so now you can see the capacitor in there, and then just about before it cools down, you can take a pair, I hope we're in the frame here, you go in here and you grab pieces of it and pull it out. Oh, that's a good one. That come out good. Okay, and so you can see this is a capacitor here, and there's 2 of them here. See them? I hope they're in the frame. All right, so as a matter of, and then I told you there's an outer paper. It's actually on the inside. It might not be on this one. See, like I said, each one of these companies that made these capacitors made them slightly different. Okay, this has it. this outer paper you can take off. And down in here, what's left, if you can see down in there, there's a wire that goes to the back here. All right, and yeah, make sure your lip is clean when you use your epoxy. If you got contact cement, put a coating contact cement in the lip, and then on here, and then but make sure you do a dry run. Okay, you want to put this lid on with the capacitor in there, dry run, make sure everything, it actually goes down, the mica will go down into the lip, and then when that's fine, then you put your epoxy or glue on and finish it up. And don't forget, I told you, this lead has to be lined up at one of those feet. And that's so when you put back in the unit, the wires will be long enough. Okay, I did warn you. A lot of it'll be, it'll be trial and error. But this video, yesterday when I was working this, I got stopped because while I was working on this, over here on this side, Windows was updating. And then I uploaded my video from yesterday, and then it wanted to update. And I let it update, and then nothing worked. And see, the problem with Windows, when it blows up, or it won't let you do anything, how are you supposed to get on the internet? Now, I made a thumbnail drive of Ubuntu, and I went to go up on the internet, and it was giving me annoyances. The Ubuntu Firefox browser inside, something wanted me to update it. And I'm like, I don't have time for this. One person already sent me off. Windows sent me off on a tangent, and now Ubuntu. So then I finally got there. I read, and the first thing tell you, oh, it's your security program, your virus protection. Blah, blah. I keep reading. See, I don't go for the first 3 or 4 answers. And then it says during an update, basically good luck finding what's causing it. Okay. And one guy says, just roll the update back. And I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Took 2 hours. 2 hours for Windows to go in circles. You know how it does that. And then finally I rebooted and the whole thing. And then I'm able to make the video. I could make the video, but I had no way to getting it up on the internet because it wouldn't let me in certain websites. There's so much security in Windows 10. It basically don't let you do anything except use their program and go on their website. Okay, that it does do, and it's so annoying. And I won't say I'm real productive with a computer, but more than most people. And I'm constantly fighting Windows. And that's how I know other people don't use their computers, because they never have problems with updates or anything, because they don't really use their computer. And then when they do need to do something, they call me up and ask me to do it. And I'm like, I stopped doing that here. I told a couple people here, I don't have any more ink in my printer. Okay. They would email me, can you go up and get this and print it out for me? Because they have no ink in their printer. And now I don't, because I've been printing stuff for other people. And I just have to stop all the nonsense. Like I said, the one video, stop the nonsense. And you got to really, in life, you just got to say, where's my best interest? And I hate to be selfish, but everybody else is, But yeah, there's some interesting things. There's this like spring clip here that goes in the socket, in the tube socket. And I think that's to keep the tube from moving right to left, because it goes on aircraft. And I do remember someone telling me when an aircraft touches down, there's a G-force that on the old days it could cause the tube to come out of the socket. I found that hard to believe, but it was one of the guy's bullshit stories. And I'm like, but I do see this ring, and it does keep the tube from going right to left. So, or up in, yeah, right to left. So, yeah, I just want to tell you, and there's the little capacitors. They're foil and paper. And I got to cut my nails. I know a lot of people are like, why don't you cut your nails? I'm a very eccentric. I lost a lot of time yesterday playing with Windows 10. And I went out and I mowed just the back lawn because I had done a walk in the morning and my feet were sore. And I said, well, at least go out and do the back. And the back is all leaves, and I have to put the mulching attachment on. And normally, the temperature goes where you don't have to cut the lawn for a couple weeks, and then the leaves come down. But now the leaves are coming down while the lawn is still growing because it's been 80 degrees. And the leaves come down because the days get shorter. Some of it's temperature, but basically, as the days get shorter, the tree starts cutting back, and then the leaves start coming down. But much slower, much more annoying. They get in the gutters. It's just the way the weather's been going. It's created a lot of extra work for me, and I'm getting older. I'm very tired all the time. A lot of it's I just get tired of doing some of this stuff, you know. And then of course, you know, I bought this transmitter. Basically, I have some ideas, but of course it's been bodged. You know, they put a really nice outside cabinet on it, nice and clean looking. You look at the pictures, and then you get something like that, a mainframe that's been sitting in a cellar or a garage, most likely a garage, and without the top on it. And that all that crap on there, that's dust with oil in it. Okay, and it's amazing what's on eBay. And of course, if you tell the guy that sold it to you anything, just send it back. And they won't pay you for the return trip, which is $37. So you'll get back some money, but you actually lose money, okay? And in this case, I keep it, I rebuild this a little at a time, and then I have to get another one in order to get that roller inductor up in the front. And I expect other things to be bodged up in here. You know, the pictures on the internet, I don't know how good are of this armature thing, whatever it is, because I spent more time yesterday getting Windows 10 working rather than look for a clear picture to get an idea. You know, I know this is a coil, okay, and this is the output tune coil, and then that goes to the roller inductor, which tunes the antenna. This tunes the finals, which are in parallel, and then the roller inductor tunes for the length of the antenna. It makes up for if the antenna's too short. Yeah, inductance would make up for it's too short. If the antenna is too long, you got to use capacitance in series. Yeah, I know all the basics, okay? But when you actually buy something and physically take delivery of it, it's a whole new world. You know, if I had gotten a unit that was in better shape than this, and it would have been okay. And then I realized that you can't really take this apart without those special spline tools. Okay, that's all that is underneath the spline tools for the different for the knobs. And so I know right away that people that are buying these, you never hear them mention they have problems getting it apart because of the spline tools. I'm telling you that because that's what you'll actually have happen. And you can tell who has really worked on one if you read the conferences, and who's just repeating what they've heard somewhere else. You know, and I have a problem with those parrots. I call them parrots. And when I worked in RCA, we had several parrots, and these were guys that never went to tech school. And you'd be working on something for somebody, and they'd be telling you what's wrong with it and how to fix it, and it would never be what they said it was. You know, and then they'd get mad at you because they made a mistake. It's just unbelievable life. And I've noticed a lot less happier people in this area here. People are really in bad moods because you know they owe money, and the government gave them so much money, and now they're not giving them the money. And I'm like, oh brother. But yeah, this is to keep me busy. But it's a little. I'm in a little deeper than I wanted to be on it, you know. But I figured I'd show you the cap come apart, you know, because on the internet, you have the guys that tell you if you mention these caps, they'll tell you put in terminals. But I tell you, I like to keep everything original looking, and that makes it very simple. If you sell it to someone, they turn it over. It looks just like the pictures. Anytime you modify anything and give it to somebody else, it's not going to get done. They're just going to get so confused and just, you know, nothing worse than following a bunch of wires to find out the guy did do it right, and now you go looking for the real problem. Or the guy did it right, but one of his soldering connections weren't any good, or he put in the wrong part. It's just that's why a lot of radios end up in a cellar or in a closet, is because you got to have a lot of knowledge, and you got to want to stay with it. You know, nowadays people just, they get an idea, they're all excited for a day or so, and then they drop it and they make excuses. Oh, I'll get to it someday. No, I know, like I told you, I had a guy that lived in my neighborhood. He had thousands of projects. And right until the end, before he died, he actually kept saying he was going to get to them. And he died, and that was it. And I stayed clear of the family. I didn't want to get him involved in any of his junk, you know, because I didn't want any of his projects that he didn't finish in my house, because then I would finish them, okay? And I found out these output tubes go anywhere from 20 bucks to 30 bucks. So that's not bad for an output tube. But that's because they made millions of them during World War II, and those are sitting somewhere. That's what's amazing about this. You just know when you work on something how many of these are sitting somewhere. And it's the proof in the pudding is how many are on eBay all the time. And they just get passed around. And I know you got to have a certain amount of knowledge, and a novice reading the rules and regulations and the material is not going to be able to fix one of these transmitters. Okay? And that's why I always tell people when they would give me a hard time, I'd be at a ham flea market, and one of the hams would basically be saying something to me. I said, look, I know how this stuff works. I can repair it. You know, they basically have a friend come over and help them put an antenna up because they don't know how to do that. And I give them credit for learning the code, okay? But that's basically a mental thing, the way your brain is set up. Some people are more likely to be able to play guitar, and then they have other idiosyncrasies, things they can't do. And I can do those things, but they can't do those things. And, you know, like critical thinking, they can't think 3 or 4 steps ahead. What could go wrong? I can do that because I'm a naysayer on a lot of things. I know what can go wrong because I told you, I'm the guy that has to fix something when everybody else is giving up, you know. And these clips here that hook on the plate, there would be the plate on that tube. Real old tubes, this little clip used to go on the grid. That's why the real old radios, it's really cool. The real old radios, this top cap on the tube is the grid, and then later on they made it the plate, and you don't want to touch that. It's usually, in this case, it would be 200 volts on that. And these wires are all dried out and they cracked as I moved them. This is cotton covered with asbestos wire. It's woven. See, in the old days they used asbestos a lot, but in this wire it's copper, and then it's woven cotton and asbestos. You know, it's just really interesting stuff. I think that's it. All right, that's it.